Hello everybody, Brittany and Chris Carmichael here, bringing you the Elevated Life series where we teach you simple mindset shifts to create radical transformation in your life. We are a husband and wife team here to help you along your spiritual journey and answer any questions you have along your path. So as always, I invite you to leave your questions, thoughts, ideas, comments, celebrations, whatever it is you have in the comments so that we can cheer you on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today's topic is all about relationships, how to keep them, and when to let them go.
Yeah, last week we talked about intimacy, and the feedback that we got was amazing.
Yeah,
we had
phenomenal.
So many people, private message us and sort of come and share from the heart. That was just like, hey, here's what's going on. What you said really touched me. What you said is something that we never hear, and it was really cool to be able to connect with people.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your vulnerable truth. That's so beautiful and so powerful.
And we know that's tough.
Rachel.
We know that's sharing yourself and sharing your life is hard, because a lot of times you don't have people in your life where you can really just talk to them and tell them exactly what's going on, because they're your friends and it sometimes is weird, or it's your spouse and it's about your spouse. And so it's cool to be able to connect with people and to be able to talk to people in a way that, like, we're able to share things, we're able to be a part of this whole human experience. We don't have to feel so isolated, like we're just this lone island. Like, there's a lot of support here. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We love, love, love connecting with you guys. That's why we do, one-on-one coaching, so that we can help you move past these blocks that, are no longer necessary. We love getting down into the nitty-gritty with you guys. So we're willing to talk about these taboo topics. So if you have any topics you'd like us to cover this year, we're really going to go out there and cover just as many taboo topics as we can cover, and also just, like we stand for, simple mindset shifts, just ways to look at life that make you feel a little bit more positive and joyful.
Yeah, so let's get into today. We're talking about how to keep relationships, or really how to revamp them. If you don't...
Or release them.
Yeah, release them. So the big deal on keeping a relationship is the first thing you have to realize, and a lot of people don't get this, something that's really simple, and it's that you don't own the other person. And when you start realizing that...
The phrase, my husband or my wife, it just kind of makes me feel weird.
It's possessive, and a lot of people are like, ooh, she's mine or he's mine, and you hear that a lot. And
Be mine.
And it's not really true. Like, when you're in a relationship with someone, you're an individual in a relationship. And it's not necessarily the two of you are together. It's that you're spending time together, yes, but you don't own each other. So keeping and staying in a relationship is a lot about giving them freedom and space to feel like they can nurture their own needs.
I just told you that yesterday. I was thanking him for allowing us to we're in a small space, guys. We're in like 750 square feet. We're living like literally the simple minimalist life. Anyway, so we, the two animals and us in 700 square feet, you have to learn how to compromise and cooperate and to allow each other space. I mean, we don't have very much physical space to spread out, and we both have big auras. And especially when we're, using our imagination and thinking and creating, like, our energy is flowing, and we have to, create that space for each other and that freedom so that we can, commit to our passions and do, what our soul is here to do, and do what lights us up, our joys and our fun time crafts and pleasures.
Yeah, for sure. And so... Or
video games.
Right. And, another thing is, so a lot of you know that Britt and I rate everything, and we have that rule that we typically live by, and that's 7 or above. So we rate everything 1 to 10, and if it's not a 7 or above, we literally don't do it. And so here's a really simple way, if you're in a relationship and you want to gauge, how is my relationship? Because I don't know what Britt is thinking, and I'm not egotistical enough to think that I know. So I do the really simple method, and I ask her, and I say, this last week in our relationship, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? And real simple. I don't try and give her the answer, or I'm just asking her, how did you feel this week? And when she says it, if it's not a 10, you always ask, what could we do differently to make it a 10? Mm-hmm. And so you automatically will know where your partner's at. Yeah. Especially if they'll start being honest with you. And when you ask them to rate it, they're going to have to qualify the rating. And, you know, a lot of times it may not be a 10, and that's totally okay. It gives you something to work on, and it gives you something so you can see where the other person's at, because everybody's at a different place.
My favorite quote that you've ever said, and I don't think he was trying to make a quote, but it was just so profound that I love this. Chris said one time to me, true love is investing in another's spiritual growth. And that is, you know, I've come to find completely true, because from the beginning, you know, it hasn't always been easy for us. We haven't been like this amazing connected duo. Although our souls were connected, we knew we were like meant to be together, but our belief systems and our old programming and our old habits and personalities, they clashed, and they, you know, that was what created the growth. That was what created an awareness about things that we wanted to heal in our own lives, because your relationship is a reflection of you, and what you are irritated about in the other partner is a direct reflection of what the fuck is going on with you.
That's super, super big. The relationship is going to bring out all the inner demons, and it needs to. You know, that's how love blossoms. You know, flowers grow in the dirt, and so it's like that's how everything is going to happen. And until you confront all of your own self issues, whoever you're still blaming, whoever you haven't forgiven in your life, whatever baggage you're keeping from past relationships onto the next one, until you get rid of all that crap, you can't love and bond with the other person. And until you love yourself, you can never love somebody else. Ooh. It will not happen. And it's because you don't understand love, in the sense that if you're loving someone in order for them to give you love back, that's not love. See, love is something that you give no matter what.
Love is unconditional.
Yeah, so that means if the person does you wrong, if they cheat you in some way, if they lie to you, if they do all these things, so what? Still love them. Now, that doesn't mean that you give them all your attention.
It's just called compassion.
It doesn't mean to be a doormat. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about to continue to say, look, I forgive you. You're a human being. We have all these drives. We have all these experiences, and we make weird decisions sometimes. And that's okay. Now, so we've gone on to how to keep relationships, right? The next thing is when to leave them. And the idea is that you know when to leave them.
Yeah. If you have that feeling like, I think I need to leave, trust it immediately. Don't sit and waver on it. Don't spend the next 6 months or a year going, I think I should, but it's okay, right? Like, if you know, if you get that intuitive soul nudge that says, I'm out, get out.
And also, before you totally pull the plug, ask those questions we talked about earlier. How do you rate this week? What would make it a 10? And talk with your partner. Learn to communicate. And everyone says, oh, communication is key. It doesn't just mean talking. That's not necessarily communicating. You have to be able to listen to the other person's perspective, and you have to be able to understand where they're coming from. And until you can do that and put yourself in their shoes, and just for a minute, take yourself out of the equation. Remember, everything's not about you. They're having a different experience. And so you have to figure out where are they in their experience. And when you're communicating with stuff, let's say that you're not having sex, for example, and that's, you know, that's going to be a big issue. If you're not doing things like that and you need to talk to your partner about it, you have to figure out how to approach them in a way that doesn't threaten their ego, because people have big egos, especially males. And so when you're coming up with things, people are going to be defensive. That's really natural. And so what you want to do is approach it in a certain way where you're basically giving them the idea. And you're telling them, let's say you want to be intimate. All you have to do is like, hey man, I would really like to, let's have a night where we're just touching and just enjoying each other. You know, we haven't had that night in a while. I'd really love to reconnect with you.
Wouldn't it be nice?
That's different than, hey, we haven't been having sex for a week. Like, what's going on?
That doesn't work.
That's a totally different ballgame.
He's figured out a way.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
You have to, seriously though, you have to learn how to communicate in a way that's not going to piss off your partner. Because if you're going to do that, you're going to automatically send the relationship into ruin.
It's true. I think in the beginning, and I don't know if this is true for other people, but I really tried to push your buttons. And I don't know why. I think we try to test our partners, and we try to, especially as a female, we try to play these mind games like, you should figure out what's wrong with me. All the while, we're nuts. Okay, we are crazy. And for them to try to figure it out, they don't even know like how to cook macaroni and cheese. You know what I mean? Like, don't make them try to figure it out. We are the intuitive, feeling, emotional beings. We have to figure it out for ourselves. We have to take responsibility and stop, you know, trying to put it on our partner to figure us out and figure out what's wrong with us. Like, you deal with you, and then you show up to the relationship.
And the next important thing is, let's say that you do leave. Let's say that you're in a relationship and the situation is just not going to work out, which is fine. Most relationships don't work out. It doesn't reflect you. It doesn't reflect your capacity to love or to be loved.
Well, it does reflect you in a way. It's that your souls came together to grow and learn a lesson. And when that lesson is complete, and when you've grown and you've learned to that piece of love, then you separate and you move on. And then there's another person, another relationship that's going to teach you new, beautiful things. So stop clinging on to ones because you're afraid to, what if no one will love me? Or what if I won't find that person, or I'm too old. That's just a belief in fear, and it's bullshit.
Yeah, so make sure that the second that you decide to part ways, and normally breakups are really ugly. I mean, it's just kind of the nature of things. A lot of people get hurt, and they say a lot of things out of hurt, a lot of things out of, it's not coming from a love and compassion spot. The second that you get out of the relationship, completely forgive the person for every single thing that they've ever done and for everything you've ever done to them. Or
you'll never move on freely.
If you don't forgive, you're going to carry that baggage onto the next relationship, and the next person's going to pay for the last relationship. And that's really unfair to people. You set up this big expectation, and it's really hard for the other person to meet that level, And so when you forgive that person, you let that go. And when you let it go, you're able to move on to the next step in your life. And it's okay that some people aren't going to come with you on the whole journey, and you're going to meet new people, and that's totally fine. It's not one thing like, well, I did love one time, I was in a relationship and it didn't work, so love doesn't work. Like,
you're meant to love
that's
everybody.
Not a mindset to be in. And you can love an infinite amount of people. Love is not something that we only have a finite amount of.
Yeah, we don't save it for one person. It's to everybody, every single person. And we need to begin honoring each person as that same divine, beautiful oneness that we all are.
Boom.
Whoa. Talk about getting elevated on a Friday morning, guys. We are going to wrap this up. And with that being said, I want to ask you guys, can you let go? Can you forgive somebody in the past that you're still harboring negative emotions in your own physical body? All that harboring and holding on to is only harming you. So the forgiveness sets you free. It doesn't let them off the hook, but it allows you to let love in again.
Yeah, super big. Let anything, any hurt in a past relationship or at any time, you got to let it completely go to grab new. And it's such an important topic, because when we carry forward any past hurts from anything, from our parents, from friends, from anything, anytime we feel like...
From middle school, mean girls.
Anytime we don't feel like we're able to be loved because someone was mean to us, and really they're just going through their own thing. What happened is because they blew up internally and it just got pushed on you. So it's not really about you, it's about them a lot of times. And that's totally good. And so what you want to be able to do is to let those feelings always just drain away. And start to live in a space where you're always just forgiving people. I don't say forget, but forgiving them so that you can move on.
I would love for you guys to try something really quick. This is inspired by a lot of Chris's mental mindset shift work that we do and guided meditations. I want you guys to imagine the feelings that you have of anger or betrayal or, all those anger or emotions that you're harboring from the past. I want you to imagine them as a color. What do they look? What color are they? Where are they in your body? And when you notice the color and when you notice where they are, I want you to just let it melt all the way down your body and drain out your toes. And then take a scan from the top of your head to the tip of your toes and find out, do you feel a little bit lighter? And if that gave you at all any sense of tingles or release, then continue to do this mental work. Turn these things into colors and then throw them out or drain them black and white. Find that ball of burning red in your body that just is, and then turn it black and white, and then release it. Let it go.
Boom. Happy Friday.
Woo! All right, guys, we're going to bring you back down to earth because we got totally elevated today. So take a couple deep breaths in. Feel your body get grounded. Bring your energy back and have a beautiful weekend. Thank you so much for joining us on the Elevated Life series. We'll be with you guys next Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And as always, we love hearing from you. So leave your thoughts, ideas, and comments below. We'll see you guys next week. Love you guys.
Bye, all.
Bye.